Okay, if you've been following along with the metric measurement unit, we have our measurement notes that we started. We looked at the metric system with King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. We learned about our bases, and then we went to capacity, which in the metric system is measured in liters. 1 liter is the same as 1,000 milliliters, and we worked on conversions. Then we went to metric mass, which the base is gram. We talked about milligrams and kilograms. And here we're only working with the number 1,000, but today I've saved kind of the toughest for last. We're going to look over and we're going to look at metric length. If you can, there we go. So we have metric length. Our base is going to be a meter. Meter is kind of in the middle here. It's about a large step, around about a yard, but a little longer. I can put the base milli on it, and I get millimeter, abbreviated mm. These are super tiny, so if you take your thumbnail and you turn it this way, looks like I got some marker on mine. The width of that thumbnail, a little bitty width right in here, that is a millimeter. So hopefully you see how super tiny that is. 10 of those will give me a centimeter. And a centimeter is going to be about the width of your finger, and I'm looking at the paper, and it looks about like it might be the width of one of these lines too. It's about the width of your pinky finger. Then we have meter, abbreviated M, again a large step, a little bit longer than a yard. And then when we put enough of these together, we get a kilometer, kilometer, people call it different. Most commonly you'll hear it called kilometer, abbreviated KM. It's the longest metric measurement of length, but it's only a little longer than a half mile. It's about 6/10 of a mile. So over here on our conversions, again, I said 10 millimeters will give me 1 centimeter. 100 centimeters gives me a meter, or 1,000 millimeters is the same as a meter. And then 1,000 meters is the same as a kilogram. So this is why I save metric length for the end, because there are so many different numbers. Now our conversion rules are the same. I'm still gonna mark large or small. I'm holding with my left hand, I need to switch. I'm still gonna mark large or small to determine if I'm gonna multiply or divide, but my numbers are pretty easy. So when I look at my first conversion here, I wanna know how many meters are in a kilometer. So I'm gonna look, kilometer is large, meter is small, so I'm going large to small, so I'm going to multiply. I'm going to bring down the 3. I'm looking for kilometer to meter, so I come up here, the number is 1,000, so I have 3 times 1,000, which gives me 3,000. So 3 kilometers are the same as 3,000 meters. Moving to my next example, I have 90 millimeters. I want to know how many centimeters that is, so I'm going to first mark my units. Millimeters, centimeters, milli is smaller, centimeters is larger, so my sign is division. I bring down my 90, and I'm going to look up for millimeters. Here I have millimeters and centimeters, but neither one of these is a 1, so I'm going to go up to here. 10 millimeters equals 1 centimeter. 10 is the number I need, so I divide by 10. 90 divided by 10 is 9. Coming down here, I want to know 6 meters equals how many centimeters. I'm not going to mark this one this time. I know that this is large, this is small. I'm going to multiply 6 by something. I come up, I find 1 meter equals 100 centimeters, so it's 6 times 100, which is 600. And then I would go the opposite way for this one. I'm going to keep that number 100 that I had in my head, and I'm starting with 400. I know this is small, this is large, so I do 400 divided by 100, and that would be 4. These are the ones that get tricky because they can end up as really large numbers or with decimals. Okay, again, I'm not going to mark it because I know this is large, this is small, I know I'm multiplying. So the question is, what am I multiplying? I'm multiplying 450 by something. I know in my answer blank, I'm going to go ahead and put 450. I know I'm going to have all these digits. I'm multiplying 450 meter to centimeter. Come to my chart, meter, 100 centimeters. Then when I'm multiplying by 100, I add 2 zeros. So down here, or with the 450, I'm going to put 2 zeros on. And I see that 450 meters is the same as 45,000 centimeters. This one's tricky. This goes back to when we were doing liters and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000 and moving the decimal point. Because I know I'm going to start with 5,200. So I'm going centimeter to meter. I'm going to divide centimeter to meter. I'm looking for a 1. Oh, I'm going to divide by 100. Okay, so when I do this, my decimal points here, I have 2 zeros, so I move the decimal points 2 places to the left. 1, 2. That means my answer is 52. There we go. No decimals this time. Okay. If you'll notice, there's more to this anchor chart. This is a long enough video as it is, so I'm going to do a video on this bottom part here in a second.